Alright, y'all, today we're going to talk about cooking a Christmas goose. It's actually a really delicious bird and it's a great treat for the holidays. A lot of times people are concerned about the fat content of the bird. Don't even let that worry you, because a lot of the fat is going to cook out, and that's stuff that we can use to cook our potatoes. So one of the things that you want to do with your bird is we want to score the skin. We're going to cross-hatch it, which will help the fat cook out a little bit quicker. We've got some oranges, lemons, some fresh herbs over here. So all I want to do is I'm going to take a couple of these oranges. Got my handy zester here. We're just going to kind of get all that good flavor. That citrus kind of helps cut through some of the richness of that goose. Alright, this is our house blend seasoning. It's just a little bit of salt and pepper already mixed together. So I'm going to mix in probably about 2 tablespoons worth of salt and pepper in there. We're also going to take our Chinese 5-spice powder, which is like a blend of cinnamon, clove, allspice, some star anise. We're going to take probably about 2 tablespoons worth of that, and we're going to put that in here as well. And we're just going to take, if you've got a mortar and pestle at the house, you can use that. But I'm just going to take this wooden spoon and kind of mix this stuff up, kind of mash it together to get all those flavors to blend. And this is what we're going to rub down our duck to season it with. It gives it that nice kind of floral, aromatic, citrusy, kind of Christmassy smelling flavor. We want to cross-hatch our bird, which will help that fat cook out of it. When you're doing this, we're just going to go in lines across the bird. We just want to lightly score it. We don't want to cut into the meat. We just want to score the skin, which will help that fat cook out, but keep the meat nice and juicy. So I'm going to go one way like this, and then I'm going to turn the bird around, and I'm going to go the other way, so we end up with this nice diamond pattern on the bird. So now once we got our skin cut, I'm going to take our seasoning. We're just going to kind of sprinkle this on the bird, and we're going to rub it in nice and good. Now if you've got the opportunity to do this a day in advance, that'll help those flavors soak into that bird a little bit more, which will make it a lot tastier. It'll also cut down on your prep time for the next day. And one thing to remember when you're doing this, you want to make sure you season the whole bird. Season it all the way around. And like Gordon Ramsay says, make sure you treat it like it's your partner and give it a nice massage. And make sure you don't get rid of those oranges and lemons from earlier, because we're going to put those inside the cavity, and that'll help add a little more flavor and juice to the bird as it cooks. So now you can see those diamonds starting to show up on the bird. I'm also going to take some of these fresh herbs so those can cook up and steam in there as well. Now a lot of people like to tie up their birds. I like to leave it open. It helps it cook a little bit evener. We're just going to put it on our roasting rack. You see, fits in there. I've got my oven preheated to 450 degrees. So we're going to bake it at 450 for about 15 minutes. Then we're going to turn the temp down to 350 degrees and let it go for about 45 to 50 minutes, and we'll pull it out and check it. And as it cooks, we'll want to get some of that fat that renders out and base it on top of it, so we can keep adding fat back into the bird. Alright y'all, so we've pulled the goose back out of the oven, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain out some of that delicious goose fat right there, which is great for roasting potatoes, all kinds of stuff. Don't let people fool you when they say, oh, fat's bad for you. You know, fat doesn't even actually turn into fat. Fat is actually good for you when you're consuming good fat, and this is good fat, at least, you know, everything in moderation. So we can get this to cook evenly, as those breasts will cook quicker than the legs because of the bone and the meat. So we're just going to cut into these legs to break them open so we can get it to cook a little bit more evenly. is if you can see, if I can break this open for you a little bit, you can kind of see that little bit of pinkness in there, how it's not quite all the way done. See where it's not? There we go. It's not quite all the way done in there, so us cutting this open is going to help that cook a little more evenly. So I'm going to do that. Take this, put it back in here, and at this point we want to add our honey. So we're just going to drizzle this right on top, and that's going to add a nice glaze and get a little more sweetness. Now that we've got our legs cut open, our honey on there, we're going to pop it back in there. We're going to let it go for probably about another 30 minutes or so, and we'll check it, see, and we should be pretty close to done. Now that we've got the bird out of the oven, what we want to do is we want to let it rest for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to cover it with some foil because we want it to cool down slowly, so that residual heat will continue to cook the bird, and it will also help redistribute the juices in there. Whatever you do, don't ever pull something right out of the oven and start slicing it. That's a big no-no. You want to let all that meat cool, let the juices get back in there so it will stay nice and tender and juicy. If you start cutting it right now, you'll end up with a dry goose. Nobody wants a dry Christmas goose. So we're just going to cover with foil, let it sit for about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll pull it out and I'll show you how to carve it up. Alright, so we've let our bird rest. Pull our foil off. Man, that thing looks good. I wish y'all were here to get some, 'cause man. Alright, so a lot of people get real kind of daunted when you're working with carving the bird up. The best thing to do is to break it down into smaller parts so you can make it work for you, don't work for the bird. So we're going to take the wings off, and don't be scared to move the bird around. Just make, like I said, make the bird work for you. We're just going to cut that wing off right there. Same thing here. Now we're going to take these legs off. Alright, so right back in here, we've got what is called the oyster, which is a really good cut, flavorful cut of meat back there on the thigh. So we want to make sure we carve into that to get that out. And then we're just going to pull that on. If you heard that pop, that's that joint popping out. And then that leg will just come right on off. We're going to do the same thing with this one. So you can kind of see where that oyster goes. Get that pop again. Snaps out. There we go with our thighs. Now with carving the breast, what I personally like to do is down the middle is the breastbone that runs straight down the middle. You want to get just to the side of that, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to trim. I like to trim the whole breast off of the bird and then slice it on the cutting board. I feel like I get a little more control that way. So as you cut into it, you can see right there's the breastplate, and then there's the cage. So we're just going to kind of take our knife down the edge of the bird like that. And then right there we've got a nice goose breast. And we'll do the same thing on the other side of the breastbone. And just like that. And you can go back later, you can cut off some of this other piece, or you can tell everybody before you cut it. Gives you a little sample. Oh yeah. So then we've got these nice goose breasts. We'll just take them and slice them like that for your Christmas dinner, so everybody can get a nice juicy piece of delicious goose breast for your Christmas meal. And then the thighs and the legs, the easiest way now that it's sat and it's cool, I'm going to come through, I like to cut it right in the corner, and you can see where those joints are. and we're just gonna try to cut right through that joint, and we can stand that leg up and we can get all that good meat, all that good flavorful dark meat off the leg. And if you got a little puppy or a kitty, that's a great little treat for them. Just make sure you watch them. A lot of the time the bones can splinter, so you want to be careful if you give these little bones to your pets. Just make sure you keep an eye on them. Now, a lot of people might be a little nervous with a little pink in there, but goose is similar to duck. You could actually eat it a little more on the medium rare side. If it's not quite done enough for you, feel free to throw it back in there. But honestly, that's about perfect for me.